Happy Thursday, everybody. It's the 12th day of December 2019. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thank you for starting your day with us here on the NCW Life Channel. We've got a 5-star show for you today. Not normally the case on a Thursday, but we're going to see if we can pull it off. I'm here. Megan's here. Eric's here. Normally we don't get to see Eric this time of the morning, but it was an interesting evening last night. We're going to have a good show for you today. We got a lot of good stuff going on. As you all know, the Horticultural Convention, the 115th annual, something like that, Washington State Horticultural Association's annual meeting wrapped up yesterday at the Wenatchee Convention Center. Of course, it rotates. It used to be Wenatchee, Yakima, Wenatchee, Yakima. Of course, the Tri-Cities got into the mix a few years ago, so now it's Wenatchee, Yakima, Tri-Cities. So they have a rotation among those three metropolitan areas, and this year it was Wenatchee's turn to host. You probably noticed all the traffic and the lack of parking downtown. That's the price you pay. But anyway, while he was in town and while the getting was good, Steve Hare, our special news correspondent, had a chance to sit down and talk to John DeVaney, who is the executive director of the Washington State Tree Fruit Association. And it's a fascinating conversation. We'll have that for you in the back half of the hour. Plus everything else you're used to get your day going here on this Thursday. A little bit of snow. Once again, the weather, National Weather Service was spot on with their forecast. We started out with a little bit of rain. It switched over to snow, but the roadways, near as I can tell, are mighty fine indeed. The snow was just lightly covering area lawns and bushes and things like that, but the roadways are good to go. And we're going to be pretty warm today. We're going to be in the 40s today, so pretty much wherever you are in north central Washington, whatever snow you got, it's going to be long gone Johnson by the end of the day today. And then we're talking about some rain. Yeah, very warm temperatures, very mild temperatures. Still, the passes are going to be just a mess. The winter storm warning is on. Now it goes until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Passes are going to get a lot of snow. We'll get you in the loop on that. It's Thursday, Kennel Cameos. Emerson the cat needs a home. You know, the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, Emerson, some good cats down there. They really have them. We'll talk about that, plus everything else you're used to as we whip our way through this Thursday. The big story is the weather. Let's go ahead and get right to it. The weather forecast from the National Weather Service, courtesy of our friends at Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. They give your home a hug. All these weather systems that's been coming through are very quick moving. They're just flying, coming right back, which means heavy snow in the mountains and a little bit of rain mixed with snow down here on the valley floor. As I mentioned, travel impacts in the mountains are much more of a concern. Going to be dry through the weekend. Let's take a look at it. So mostly cloudy today. Again, a rain-snow mix is possible. We'll top off right around 40. Could be a little warmer than that. By the way, check this out. Yesterday's high, Wednesday's high, 31 degrees. Yesterday's low, 29 degrees. That's right. We had a 2-degree difference between our high and our low. It's something that we're used to around here. By the way, sunrise this morning, still a ways off, 7:39, sunset 4:10. That'll buy us 8 hours and 31 minutes of daylight. So slight chance of a little bit of light snow. That chance is probably already come and gone. And then we're going to see some rain this afternoon. There's about a 70% chance, as you can see, rain later on this afternoon. We'll top off right around 40, maybe even 41 degrees. We're at 23 outside of our studios. Tonight, chance of rain goes down to about 30%. Snow level is going to be at about 2,800 feet, so that's above the valley floor. Lots of clouds, 31 for the overnight low for Friday. Lots of sunshine and a high right around 40 degrees again with a couple of clouds here and there. That's about it. Then we cool down just a little bit. The trade-off is we're going to have some sunshine, which we have not had for quite some time. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, lots of sunshine. High pressure will be set up, and it's going to make our temperatures cool down a little bit. But those high temperatures, all of those that you see, are above normal, or normal high temperature for this time of year, right around 33, 34 degrees. So we're going to be warmer than normal. Are we in for a white Christmas? Don't know. Can't tell you. Too far out. Grant is hedging his bets. He's our weather expert around here, and he goes, I don't know. We're still 13 days away from Christmas, so if we have any idea whether we're going to have a white Christmas or not, I'll be the first one to let you know, because I, like everybody else, wants a white Christmas. So there you go. Kind of quiet. Again, rain-snow mix possible today, but probably we're done with whatever snow is gone. It's out of here. We're going to have some rain this afternoon, and then we trade off with some sunshine and slightly cooler temperatures. That's your forecast. From the National Weather Service to the passes we go. How are things looking right now? Well, it's a tad dicey. That's a live shot of Snoqualmie Pass, I-90. Traction tires are advised. There is some snow and slush on the roadway. Nothing coming down out of the sky, just overcast conditions, a couple of pockets of clouds and fog, but that's all you're going to deal with. A little slushy at times, so they do have a traction tire advisory on I-90. Snoqualmie Pass. Stevens Pass is a traction tire requirement. Both directions, compact snow and ice on the roadway. It is snowing right now at the summit of Stevens Pass, and it's going to snow pretty much all day today. Stevens Pass, of course, is about 1,000 feet higher in elevation than I-90, and that can make all the difference in the world. And of course, Blewett Pass, with an elevation of about 4,100 feet, they have a traction tire requirement as well, just like Stevens Pass. It's snowing on US 97 Blewett. You got snow on the roadway, you got ice on the roadway. That's a perfect example of that. Look at that big icicle hanging down off the lens from the camera provided by the Washington State Department of Transportation. Winter storm warning is underway for the mountain passes. It's going to go all the way through 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning. They may even extend that for the mountain passes today. About 4 inches of new snow on I-90, upwards of 8 inches of new snow is in the forecast for Stevens Pass. That's for today. Tonight, an additional 3 to 7 inches in the mountain passes. That's for tonight. Friday, an additional 2 to 4 inches possible for the mountain passes, and then an additional 2 to 4 inches possible on Friday night. So they're going to get a lot of snow in the Cascades, especially Stevens Pass. Not really so much on Blewett or on I-90, but you're going to be dealing with winter driving conditions. But if you have plans to drive over the passes over the weekend, things should be dry. There's no real snow at all in the forecast for Saturday and Sunday, but quite a bit of snow between now and Friday night. So that's your weather forecast. That's your pass report. It's just about 7 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break and come back with your Thursday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're live this morning from Studio 1 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Winter is here, and CVCH wants to give your child a free sled to help them stay active. This January, plan to join us for a free event for the whole family. Free sleds, hot chocolate, and fun. For complete details, visit the CVCH Facebook page or check us out at cvchchillout.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Grandstrom with the NCW Life channel.
And I'm Brent Rose with Country 104.7 KKRV.
It's that time of year again.
The third annual Les Schwab Community Toy Drive.
Christmas will be here before you know it, and a lot of kids in our valley will go without if we don't help.
You can help by stopping at Hooked on Toys and picking up a gift tag off the tree.
Buy the gift and drop it there or any of our sponsor locations.
Thank you for helping kids in our valley have a Merry Christmas.
With the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive.
And we are back, 25 degrees, a little misty, a little cloudy. We'll top off right around 40 or 41 degrees with some rain this afternoon. In fact, could see quite a bit of rain this afternoon. We dry up tonight. We're in for some sunshine for the upcoming weekend with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. Here's what's making headlines on this Thursday morning. An orchard development company says Chelan County unlawfully interfered in its right to plant more cherries and has filed a claim for damages. Wheeler Ridge LLC is owned by grower Kyle Matheson, and they say the county, Chelan County I should say, overstepped its legal authority to conserve land in the Stamill Basin for wildlife and recreation and stymied the company's plans for 250 acres of cherry orchards on its private land in the area. By the way, that's identified as in the yellow section 17 that you see on that map. Now, the claim is for damages. It was filed with the county last Friday. The claim is a legal necessity before a civil suit can go to court, and no such lawsuit has actually been filed. We'll keep a close eye on this story. Well, don't blame the DOT if you get stuck on Stevens Pass during avalanche control work. Officials say drivers, they get plenty of advance notice when the Cascade passes are scheduled to close for avalanche control work. Spokeswoman for the Washington State Department of Transportation, Lauren Loebsack, explains that social media enables motorists to access DOT pass information in a very timely fashion.
Yeah, we are available on most of the social media platforms and try to have an active presence there. We also have that app, which is essentially all the information that you would get on social media or from the Gov Delivery listserv or that you would see on the website is going to be available on that app. And so we always encourage people to download that if you have a smartphone. Getting those notifications out helps the public make decisions about how they're going to travel. So they find themselves hopefully less likely to be trapped in winter conditions that they're not prepared for or they didn't see coming, or waiting for some avalanche control to occur. We start in November a 24/7 coverage in our traffic management center as well. So those folks in there work with our teams that are on to make sure that that information is getting out even at night when I'm asleep and enjoying my sleep and everybody else is working hard. They are getting that information out, and that will come. So really just suggesting, if you have a smartphone or you're on social media, find WashDOT, and we're really working to get the information out.
Mike Stanford heads up the avalanche control operations for the Washington State Department of Transportation's North Central Washington region.
So we try to do the majority of our control at night to limit the impact on the traveling public, and just the less traffic, it's best for us too. So we'll try to do our control between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. So a lot of people are got to get to the airport on the west side or have appointments on the west side. So and we have seen an impact. It's good to be able to notify those people that we're going to do avalanche control the next morning at 4 a.m. So it gives them a heads up that if they need to get to Seattle at a certain time, they can get before or wait till we're all done after and get over the pass. So absolutely, the notifications has been a good deal.
The DOT pass reports are available as an app. You can download that app by going to the Washington State Department of Transportation's website. You can also use Twitter and Facebook to monitor the latest pass conditions. A mental health nonprofit in Leavenworth has gotten a sizable windfall from the owners of Stevens Pass, the ski area there. Upper Valley Cares is one of 18 behavioral health agencies to share a $2.8 million donation from the Cats Amsterdam Charitable Trust that's established by the owners of Vail Resorts. UV Cares says it will use its $50,000 gift as seed capital to establish a free health clinic and counseling. UV Cares works with Cascade Medical Center for clients in Leavenworth, Lake Wenatchee, Shaston, and other communities in the Upper Valley. The grants are targeted at communities where Vail Resorts operates a ski resort. Well, and what should be of great interest to hunters, wildlife biologist Ella Rowan with the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife recently ventured into the vast and varying landscape of the Columbia Basin near Ephrata to survey the mule deer population. The Columbia Basin is home to the largest concentration of mule deer in the state and is extremely popular with hunters. After each hunting season, the herds are surveyed by both ground and by air, with the results determining whether there might need to be changes made to the hunting season and hunting permits. After counting and recording more than 100 deer, Rowan reported that the mule deer population is generally doing pretty good and holding steady this year. That's always good news. Fona Sugg, Chief Administrator for the Chelan County Superior Court for the last decade, was named Court Manager of the Year last week by the Washington State Courts. Our very own Jefferson Robbins tagged along with their very own Caitlin Heddersheet to pop down to the Chelan County Courthouse and talk to Ms. Sugg.
My name is Fauna Sugg, and I'm the Superior Court Administrator for Chelan County. The job involves lots of different things. I manage the budget for the court and law library. I manage the guardian ad litem registries for a few different types of cases. I manage grants. For a long time, Chelan County was one of, if not the only county that didn't technically have a Superior Court Administrator. So for a number of years before I actually became the official court administrator, I did all of the same work that other court administrators across the state were doing, just without the title. But in a court our size, you kind of end up doing a little bit of everything. I bailiff every once in a while. We have our first drug court here, which is a super exciting thing. Those drug courts have been around for a long time, but I think on a state level and on a federal level, people are realizing that some of the more traditional ways that our justice system has operated maybe aren't the best ways, and so courts have moved toward more problem-solving, collaborative type situations or programs. I do interact with people from courts across the state very often, and listening to them talk sometimes about their work environments and the judges that they work for and that sort of thing. I just have always felt extremely fortunate working here because we have a great bench, and I have great people who I work with, and that to me is the best part about the job, I guess. To be on the same level as the people who have really raised me in my job and who I have admired for a long time is pretty humbling and pretty exciting.
Congratulations, good for her. Link Transit wants to hear from the public regarding some proposed changes or possible changes to the Link bus routes between Wenatchee and Leavenworth. An open house is scheduled for today between 4:30 and 7:30. It'll be held at Leavenworth City Hall. Now, among the changes being considered is having buses no longer end their routes at the Wilkeman Park and Ride. The Park and Ride is opened in July, and Link spokesperson Eric West says a lot of people have said it just simply isn't working for them. Link is also looking at expanding their operating hours in Leavenworth, and maybe even a shuttle service, exploring the idea of an express service between Wenatchee and Leavenworth. Of course, voters approved a sales tax increase back in August that will allow Link Transit to increase its routes and hours throughout its service area. State Senator Brad Hawkins thinks it's about time Washington had an Apple-themed license plate. The 12th District Legislature has pre-filed a bill for the 2020 legislative session that aims to make a new license plate a reality. He already has 20 bipartisan co-sponsors for the bill. Hawkins is teaming with the Washington Apple Commission and the Washington Apple Education Foundation in pushing for recognition of the state's best-selling fruit. The Apple Commission has contributed $6,300 in startup costs and is gathering the 3,500 signatures that are necessary to show sufficient interest in an Apple license plate. Washington already has a wide variety of specialty plates people can purchase, featuring everything from universities to parks to veterans to wildlife. And finally, this morning, a local student-led heritage project comes to life on film, and it happens tonight. It's The Winter's Tale. It's a documentary that weaves Native American oral history with local geology. Students with the Wenatchee Valley Technical Skills Center work directly with renowned storyteller Randy Lewis on creating the film. The story is about a river dragon that lived in the Columbia River in the Wenatchee Valley about 1,000 years ago.
When I was a kid, we didn't have electricity, we didn't have running water, but what we had was a wealth of stories. And every night, my grandmother and grandpa would start out by saying, "We don't have a lot to give you. I come to you with empty hands." Icha and cha. Kashlachen, he'd say. "Here is me, Kashlachen, your grandfather. I give you these things." The area we're at right now, we call Nakwekweas. Means when the Creator threw rocks out everywhere and they landed.
The geology, if we're just a few thousand, or let's say less than 20,000 years in time, is the absolute perfect marriage between Native American stories and our scientific work.
Not far from here, below the confluence in the Columbia River, Bakato, there existed a being. He was a carryover from the time before people. We had a name for him, Specksman. Specksman was a river dragon, and he was the last of his kind. Man had no power, he had no spirit, he had no magic. We all have superheroes now. Well, these were our superheroes 13,000 years ago.
I personally have been following the production of this film. It is a fascinating piece of work, and you can see it tonight at 7 o'clock at the Liberty Cinemas in downtown Wenatchee. Our very own Malcolm Whitehall, Josiah Davison, and Chelsea Craig played a big part of the crew. We're happy that they were a part of it. It's a good movie. You got to check it out. Really good stuff. Fascinating. Randy's a great guy. 20 minutes after the hour, that's what's making headlines on this Thursday morning. The news crew will be back at it again tonight, putting together a newscast for you at 5 o'clock, and with a preview. Here's the anchor, Grant Olson. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have the preview. So we'll jump right ahead to let you know how you can get a hold of us. There's any number of ways you can do it. Pick up the telephone and give us the call. The number's right down there at the bottom of your screen. Email's a great way to do it. news@ncwlife.com. News@ncwlife.com. If you want to drop us a line or submit a news tip, we'd love to hear from you there. You can also go to our Facebook page and drop us a line via the Facebook Messenger. We'd love to hear from you that way, or if you want to just go to our website, ncwlife.com, ncwlife.com. At the very top right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see the Contact Us icon. If you click on it, a form fills out. You fill out the form, you push send, and we get the message right here. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers. And it turns out we have viewers, which is really cool. Going to take a break. When we come back, sports. We have the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays. Everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, kennel cameos, and our special correspondent, Steve Hare, and his conversation with John DeVaney, the president of the Washington State Tree Fruit Growers Association. Lots to get to between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
When it comes to our community, you can count on Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram to be invested. From supporting community college scholarships through a concert series or participating in a local high school homecoming event, Town Chrysler has always put the community first. Buying local supports the jobs and programs you care about most. When it comes time to buy your next new or used car, SUV, or truck, remember, there's no reason to leave town.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
Back at it, 22 minutes after the hour. We still have misty, cloudy skies, 25 degrees. We'll have a little bit of rain this afternoon. We'll top off about 40. Lots of sunshine, dry conditions for the weekend, but a friendly reminder of significant snowfall in the mountain passes right through Friday night. Let's do sports. Wenatchee Wild finished their final leg of a 3-game road trip, and they lost last night to Trail, the final 3-1. The Smoke Eaters getting the better of the Wild. Trail scored first at the 8:26 mark of the first period and then held on to a 1-0 lead until 7 minutes into the second frame. That's when Harrison Scott of the Wenatchee Wild tied the game. The game remained tied until midway through the third period. Arch Ecker with the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network, video courtesy of Hockey TV.
Krisky takes a look from the circle, works his way down low, throws it back up top to the midpoint. There's a shot and he scores. Jamison Murray took a shot from the midpoint through traffic, kind of went across the grain and got by Chenard on the blocker side. Trail strikes first. They lead it 1-0. 8:26 will be the time of the goal. Jamison Murray converting on the power play. That's his first goal in his 25th game. But loses it there, and Caffarelli will race through center. Caffarelli ahead now for Young on the right side. Back to Caffarelli. Broken up, backhander by Scott, and he scores. Harrison Scott with a backhander. As the Wild manhandled it up the right wing boards and got it in deep, and the centering feed eventually collected by Scott, and he'll backhand it in. The Wild have tied it at 1. And for Harrison Scott, his 10th goal of the year. Extra skater back out onto the ice, so we're 5-on-5. Briere curves to the right side, pass over in the backdoor, shot, and a score. Tyler Giardosi from the left circle on the crossing feed, and he was able to punch it in underneath as Chenard was sliding back across. Time of the goal, 8:11. Banked along off the wall and then scooped up by Colella. Colella on the right side, opens up, finds a trailer, and Giardosi, he shoots and he scores. The third man in on the rush. It was a 2-on-1, but Giardosi was the third man high. And as he came in, he caught the pass and made a deke, flipped it in behind the glove hand of Daniel Chenard. Giardosi, second of the night. And Trail now leads at 3-1. Sweeney was there. It's taken by Wolthers. Wolthers along for Adams. He kicks it along, but Hastings stepped offside with 2.8 seconds left. And it's all over, but the final face-off here momentarily as the Smoke Eaters are going to pick up the win, and the home team will have won all 3 of the first meetings between these clubs this year. Off the draw, they try to fire at the length of the ice.
Wenatchee Wild are going to be home tomorrow night. They got Salmon Arm coming to town. 7 to 5 is when they drop the puck. It's teddy bear toss. Stuffed animals, bring them and throw them after the Wild scored their first goal. It's all to support Operation Santa. By the way, David Rayfield of the Wenatchee Wild will talk about that and all things Wenatchee Wild related on tomorrow's edition of this very program. Let's go to the Prep Sports calendar. For tonight, of course, we're talking basketball, and it's all girl-boy doubleheaders. Ladies first, of course. That's the way it should be. 5:45, we got Cashmere hosting OMAC. Cle Elum is at Cascade. Antioch will take on Cascade Christian, and the boys' games follow at 7:15. Cashmere and OMAC, Cascade and Cle Elum, and Cascade Christian and Antioch. They'll get going the boys' game at 7:30. A few wrestling matches of note tonight. Eastmont will host West Valley at 7 o'clock. It's also a 7 o'clock start time for Wenatchee. They'll be in Yakima to take on Davis. Wapato is at Quincy, and Ephrata will host Sela. Of course, the Seattle Seahawks will be in Charlotte. Their beautiful Carolina is going to be on their mind Sunday. They got the Carolina Panthers on the schedule. Pete Carroll, of course, has been coaching the Seahawks for 10 years in Seattle. The Seahawks have faced the Panthers 7 times in the regular season, 2 times in the playoffs, even though they're without Cam Newton and Ron Rivera. He was fired as head coach, of course, earlier in the year. Pete Carroll says he's very familiar with the challenges that the Panthers pose.
We're deep in it now, deep into the finish time. We got to get back on track with a really good week, really good preparation, going against a familiar opponent. It seems like these guys are in our division just about as we play them almost every year. And some changes. There's some changes this time around, but Panthers have always been tough, and it's always been a great matchup for us, and so we got to get ready to go. Really like to finish road trips with a really good finish right here, and so we're putting everything we can into it. It's a big championship opportunity for us, and we've got to get right and do everything we can to make it a successful week here in practice, and then we'll take it to Sunday. So we're looking forward to it.
One of the biggest challenges for Seattle's defense is going to be containing running back Christian McCaffrey. He's currently 3rd in the NFL in rushing yards and 4th in the league in the number of receptions.
He's a great player. You know, he was a great player in college. I remember sitting at the combine in the evening, sitting down with him, just a one-on-one with him, and I was really excited to talk to him because I was so impressed with him as a college player, and I kind of wanted to see if he had that kind of twinkle in his eye about being great. He left no doubt, and I was blown away by his mentality, and then to see him perform at such a high level so consistently, and he's good at everything, and he's the best combo guy there is. 86 catches he's got right now. I don't know, it's 3rd or 4th in the league, whatever it is, as well as 1,200 yards. I mean, it's crazy numbers, but he brings it, and he runs tough, and he's good in the open field, and he makes the catches and runs the routes, and he's an incredible player. So the answer is yes, it is built around him. It should be. They figured that out. It wasn't hard to figure it out, and he's been incredible in his first couple years in the league.
Seattle and Carolina, Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. They'll kick off at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. You can watch the game on Fox. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Thursday at 29 minutes after the hour. The Obscura holiday, it is Poinsettia Day. Today, always celebrated on December 12th. Of course, it is the staple plant outside of the Christmas tree itself. It's the staple plant of Christmas. The poinsettia is named after John Poinsett, who died way back in 1851. He was the United States' very first ambassador to Mexico, and poinsettias are a native plant of Mexico. And when he left and went back to the United States, he brought a bunch of the plants with him, planted them in his greenhouse in Greenville, South Carolina, and he handed them out as Christmas gifts to friends, and it started to go from there. And now, by the way, poinsettias are terribly poisonous. Don't eat them, or you will cease breathing, and you really don't want to do that. But nothing says Christmas like poinsettias, because it's Christmas colors. It's green, it's red. They're not really supposed to be, what's the best way to put it? The poinsettias that you buy over the Christmas holidays, they're kind of a summertime plant, and they have to keep them alive long enough so you can enjoy them over the Christmas holidays. But poinsettias really aren't native to the Pacific Northwest, and it's really hard to keep them alive, but they sure are purty. Happy Poinsettia Day today. a Christmas plant if there ever was one. It is 30 minutes after the hour. It's the bottom of the hour. Today in history, happy birthday. Pennsylvania is 232 years old today. Yeah, it became the second state to ratify the Constitution and join the Union. Delaware was first. 5 days later, Pennsylvania said, we're in. Pennsylvania, of course, is known as the Keystone State. Pennsylvania is not a state, it's a commonwealth. They refer to themselves formally as a commonwealth. Virginia, Kentucky, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania. They are commonwealths officially, not states. For one rather uncomfortable season during World War II, the NFL was in serious danger of folding because every able-bodied man was serving their country in World War II, and before you knew it, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles didn't have enough men to field football teams. So for 1 year in World War II, the Eagles and the Steelers became one team. They became known as the Steagles, just to keep the NFL teams alive in football-mad Pennsylvania. So they just, for 1 year, the Eagles and the Steelers were one team. It didn't work out, as you might imagine. Can you imagine that? Of course, Pennsylvania, like a lot of the industrial states in the north, has seen the population kind of migrate away. Pennsylvania was one of the biggest states you wanted to win if you wanted to be the presidency. At one time, they had 38 electoral votes. They're down to now 20 electoral votes, so they've lost 45% of their electoral clout over the last 82, 83 years. And with the upcoming 2020 census, they're going to lose even more. Probably another electoral vote or two will go to another state instead of Pennsylvania. But we love Pennsylvania. The second state joined the Union on this day back in 1787. And I don't know what to tell you about what happened 19 years ago today, but there it is. The Supreme Court, in a 5-4 decision, halted the Florida recount and basically handed the presidency to George W. Bush. Somebody had to step in and do it, and the Supreme Court did. Bush v. Gore came to an end, and that long, long 2000 presidential election was finally over. 32 minutes after the hour, birthdays. Francis Albert Sinatra, the greatest singer of the 20th century, was born in the state in 1915. Frank Sinatra was terribly underrated. The guy was everywhere. The guy was multi-talented. Yeah, of course, first and foremost, he will always be a singer. 100 years from now, they're talking about Frank Sinatra's, supper club act, his nightclub act. He was in movies, he was in televisions, he was in variety shows. But the bottom line is it's going to be all about the music. And Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley, you don't think they would have this in common, but they did until very, very late in Frank Sinatra's career. When he recorded music in the studio, he always recorded live with the band and the orchestra with him. He insisted on it, the great Frank Sinatra. We miss him. And Rory Kennedy is 51 years old today. Rory Kennedy was the 10th and youngest child of Robert and Ethel Kennedy. Ethel Kennedy was pregnant with Rory Kennedy when her father was killed, assassinated. She was, we talk about the Kennedy curse. Of course, she never knew her dad. Her dad was shot to death before she was born. Her brother David died of a drug overdose. She was skiing with her brother Michael on New Year's Day, 1997, when Michael skied into a tree and was killed. Rory tried to give him CPR unsuccessfully. And of course, her cousin, John F. Kennedy Jr., was flying his plane to Rory's wedding in 1999 when his plane went down. Rory Kennedy is a filmmaker, by the way, by trade, and she's 51 years old today. All right, we got some other stuff to get to. We got Kennel Cameos coming up, Mike McNalty's opinion, and Steve Hare's conversation with John DeVaney, the president of the Washington State True Fruit Growers Association. When I mentioned Campbell's Resort, it's back again, the destination deal. It is for locals only. They did this in November, and it went over so well, they said, let's keep right on rolling through it. So at least now through the month of December, if you're a local, if you live in North Central Washington, all you got to do is give Campbell's a call and say, hey, I live here, and I want a nice little weekend getaway at your incredible resort, which has been around for 118 years. And as long as you're local and you can prove it, you can get a room at Campbell's starting at just $95 a night, $95 a night. That is not a misprint. Incredible deal there. And of course, the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive is back for the third big year, courtesy of Les Schwab and all of our sponsors. This year, we need toys for older kids, 10 and up. We always need toys for the younger kids, toddlers, and right through that, but 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kids. That's a significant need this year. So you're out and about, you're doing your Christmas shopping. All we're asking you to do is buy a new unwrapped toy, drop it off at any of our sponsor locations. We're one of them here at the NCAA Live Channel, and we will make sure that the kids who need them get them through our partnership with our nonprofit organizations who are going to be distributing the toys. The Les Schwab Community Toy Drive. Can't do it without you. All right. It's 35 minutes after the hour. Emerson needs a home. It's Kennel Cameos with Megan McPherson.
Hey everyone, Megan here with the NCW Life Channel. We're here with Renee Parkins, the Development Officer of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and Emerson is joining us this week. He's a little shy, it takes him a while to warm up.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a really good boy. He's probably about 5 months old, and he is a really sweet guy. He's just a little shy. He's definitely looking for a quiet home, but he does okay being alone too, so he would be a great pet for like working adults.
Mm-hmm.
He would be okay if he had kind of a companion cat. It doesn't say this on his profile online, but I do happen to know he loves string.
Okay.
So he does love to play. He loves to curl up on a lap, he knows, but he does need quiet, so no kids, adult-only home. And he just needs some time to get to know you, and then just know he's going to be a cat that does want a little independent time alone. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if someone's interested in him, what should they do?
Oh, they should come down and meet him. As you can see, I think he's got a little too much attention right now, but he's a really great boy, and he loves to purr and make biscuits. So come down, meet him, see if he's going to be a good fit for your home, and if so, you can take him home today.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
Is it time for you to start planning your Christmas party, a staff lunch meeting, or just a space to bring all your holiday visitors in town for a family meal? Give the Walkabout Grill a call and use one of our private dining areas in Wenatchee or in Leavenworth. That's right, at either end of the valley, you'll find a healthy dining option that everyone in the group can agree on. This is Sean, and I'd like to invite you to celebrate your holiday season around our table. Walkabout Grill, Wenatchee and Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Exercise gets everybody to be the best version of themselves they can be. And that's what I see us doing. And a lot of people see gyms as selling memberships. We see ourselves as helping our members become exercise practitioners so that their life is better, their day-to-day is better. That's what we do.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine-in style at Highlander Bar and Grill in East Wenatchee. Highlander Grill offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner with dine-in or takeout options. Highlander Grill's friendly staff is here to serve you 7 days a week this winter. Contact Shalane, Highlander Grill's site coordinator, to schedule your corporate event or special occasion. Merry Maids of Wenatchee believes a clean home is a happy home. Merry Maids provides holiday cleaning services to cheer about. Don't let the seasonal cleaning ruin the festive fun. Merry Maids can simplify your life at a great value. It's never too soon to start planning a holiday perfect home. Merry Maids of Wenatchee happily offers a worry-free guarantee. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Call Merry Maids today.
Reinventing FaceTime here at Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, a new family-owned and operated business located in the heart of downtown Wenatchee. Owner Andrew Vickery brings forth years of experience to help you transition your backyard into a place where memories are made, family time is looked forward to, and friends are always welcome. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa offers many different styles and sizes of artesian spa. Let us help you add hydrotherapy to your already healthy lifestyle.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning has been proudly serving the Wenatchee Valley for over 35 years. And just as Dick's has been there for you, they have also been an essential part of our community, supporting local youth sports all year long and your Wenatchee Wild.
Thanks for your support.
Thanks, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, for all your support. Thank you.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, your local, independent, trained comfort specialist. Call 884-6444 today.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Rosie and I, we recently spent over $300 to see the musical West Side Story at the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle. That was fun. It was a great show. We enjoyed doing stuff like that once in a while. But are you aware of the incredible live theater that's available to us right here at a minuscule fraction of the cost right here in Wenatchee? Every year, local community theater groups out there right here in our town put on very high-quality productions. No joke. These productions are comparable to anything you're going to go see professionally over in Seattle. Now, I know many of you take advantage of these opportunities, but there are many more folks who aren't even aware of the live entertainment we are blessed to have right here. So, if you've never seen a live play or musical here in town, hey, I encourage you to give community theater a try. Trust me, you'll love it. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
I'm Joel Frank, the managing principal of Equus Group and Equus Capital Partners. Equus is a vision, a team of innovative thinkers, builders, and executives. Equus, driven by a passion to protect and grow its investors' wealth through income-producing real estate. Discover wealth management and commercial real estate investment opportunities at equuscapital.com or call and learn more today. 509-665-8349.
It's always been a dream of mine to own a home. She had credit, I didn't.
And I was like, you know what, let's just go talk and see what we could do to move forward.
We walked into Guild Mortgage. I didn't think home ownership was possible. Tracy had a plan for us. Small things that we could do to establish credit. Honestly, before you knew it, the next step was go home, build your dreams, live happily ever after.
Hi, Steve Nelson here, owner of Nelson Motorsports here in Wenatchee. We have a ton of winter specials going on. We have kids ATVs starting at $7.99 that come with throttle limiters and remote stop and start for child safety. If you're tired of pushing snow, we also have snow blowers for $3.99. All of our products come with a 6-month warranty, and we have a full service shop for all your motorsports needs. Stop by and check out all of our products. We provide family fun at affordable prices.
Hello and welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Steve Hare. NCW Life would like to welcome John DeVaney with us today on our program. John is the Executive Director of the Washington State Tree Fruit Association. A little background on the group. You were formed, 10 years ago? How long
Just
ago?
5 years ago.
5 years ago. And it was the result of the merging of 4 organizations. Maybe you can tell us more.
That's correct. We took 4 longtime industry organizations, the Washington State Horticultural Association, the Washington Growers Clearinghouse Association, Wenatchee Valley Traffic Association, and the Yakima Valley Growers Shippers Association, and merged them together. They all were representing different parts of the tree fruit industry, whether small independent growers or vertically integrated packers. And they had more in common than they had separating them. So they decided that to be more efficient and serve the whole industry better, they would merge those organizations together.
Suffice it to say, it's one of the largest organizations of its type here in the state.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you represent all facets, I guess, of the industry, don't you?
That's right. The growers, packers, and marketers of all deciduous tree fruit, apples, pears, cherries, and stone fruit here in the state.
The reason we're talking with John today is because we're in day 2 of the annual Hort Expo and Trade Show.
That's correct.
115th annual Hort Show.
That's right. Since it goes back to the show has been done since the early 1900s under the sponsorship of the Washington State Horticultural Association, which was one of those organizations that merged. So we've continued that great tradition, and we're in the middle of this year's conference.
That's wonderful. And it's all things tree fruit oriented in terms of apples, cherries, stone fruit, and everything else.
Yes, and it's not just talking about the fruits themselves. It's all of the issues that touch the growers and packers and marketers of those products. Whether it's economic concerns, what is the global economy going to look like? What is the international trade situation? How do you do succession planning for your business? To horticultural questions like how do you keep pests out of your orchard and really grow the highest quality fruit in the world?
Well, it's very timely that we have a chance to talk to you today, John, especially with the news coming out of Congress today. The House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, announced earlier today that the USMCA agreement, the trade agreement with Mexico and Canada, will be going to a vote of Congress. And I'm sure that the growers are very welcoming for that news.
That's very good news. You know, when you plant a permanent crop like orchards that you make many thousands of dollars per acre in investment before you see any kind of return, you need to know some predictability on your trading environment. So it's good news that that agreement, which has been concluded, will get ratified, it appears, by Congress, and will have some stability in that trading relationship.
What kind of an effect has that had, not having an agreement in place? I mean,
well,
we've been working under the old NAFTA
agreement. Yes. Well, I think the uncertainty was the biggest problem. We have had a very strong trading relationship with both Canada and Mexico. They are usually our number 1 and 2 export markets. Mexico has been our biggest customer for many years now. And so it is very important that we know that we'll be able to continue to serve those customers.
So what do you see as the major, let's say, elements of that trade agreement, at least in terms of what our growers are concerned?
Well, for tree fruit, the best news is that not a lot will change because we have had a good relationship. It does make some improvements in other aspects of the trading relationship that were problems for U.S.-Mexico and U.S.-Canada relations. For example, there have been problems with getting U.S. wines marketed in Canada, and there was an excessive subsidy of Canadian dairy products. So those issues are being addressed in that agreement, which will be benefit for agriculture, but really there's not significant changes for tree fruit. It's just knowing that we will not have any additional retaliatory or disruptive tariffs or disagreements between the two countries, and we can make long-term plans about marketing to and selling to those customers.
Now, if we can just do something about China.
China, India, there's a number of markets where we're still negotiating long-term trade agreement changes that would benefit both countries, we hope. There are changes that need to happen specifically in the China trade relationship, and that has been a serious problem for cherry exporters in particular, since China has been one of our most significant and best paying cherry export customers.
I know that for the tree fruit growers of Washington State, labor has been a big issue.
Labor is always a big issue. It is we talked about it in Mexico as an export relationship. We also have a labor trading relationship with Mexico, where we have a lot of Mexican nationals who've come up to the United States and to Washington State in particular to do a lot of really important work in our orchards that a lot of U.S. residents don't have a lot of interest in doing anymore. They've moved on to year-round full-time employment in other industries. So we estimate that somewhere around 60% of every orchard's variable production costs are labor related. So it's a big part of how we produce fresh fruits and vegetables in the United States. And getting some changes to that immigration system around temporary and permanent agricultural work is really critical.
Well, currently you're operating under the H-2A program. What are the problems with that needed to be changed?
The program is really difficult to use. It doesn't provide a lot of flexibility for employees either. There is a complex certification process, and most significantly for growers in the last few years, as the labor market has tightened, the wages have escalated significantly. And I'm not talking about market wages, I'm talking about government-imposed wages that are ostensibly designed to prevent any harm to the domestic workforce. But as we know, there's a diminishing number of domestic workers wanting to work in seasonal agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
So the actual harm to people that don't want to take a job is hard to calculate. But in a labor shortage situation, that has meant much higher wages, where we've seen 5 or 6 or 7% annual increases in the required minimum cost of labor. That's not sustainable for growers who are already losing money. So getting some predictability in the visa process, but also putting some guardrails around how fast wages can escalate, and that you don't change the required wage rate after you've signed a contract. Once you've signed a contract to work for someone at a certain wage, you shouldn't have the government change the rules in the middle of that contract. You can make that change next year. So there'll be some very positive changes just in terms of that visa program.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some other important changes in that bill are that it will legalize or provide a pathway to a legalized status for the current undocumented workforce, which is a significant part of the workforce. Obviously, they all show documents showing themselves to be legally authorized to work in the U.S., but studies have shown that many of those documents would not bear closer scrutiny and government investigation. So we want to make sure that those who are working on false documents right now, but are doing work no one else wants to do, but are productive members of our society, can be moved into a legal status and come out of the shadows.
Okay.
That bill would allow that to happen. And once that has happened and we have a reformed guest worker program, it would provide additional enforcement as well by imposing a requirement to use the E-Verify system for new hires in agriculture, which is not currently the case.
And similar to the USMCA agreement, which is going to be voted on by Congress, we understand that the Workforce Modernization Act, which the H-2A provisions are included in, will also be voted on by Congress, according to our
Yes.
House Representative Dan Newhouse.
Yeah, obviously when they're talking about impeachment, interesting things can happen with the congressional schedule, but that is scheduled to come up on just tomorrow on the House floor. And there is a good chance that that will move forward. As contentious as things are in Washington, D.C. now, and as difficult an issue as immigration is to talk about, that bill was negotiated on a bipartisan basis with participation from both agriculture and agricultural labor advocates like the United Farm Workers, and pretty much it has equal bipartisan sponsors. So that's pretty unusual in this current environment. So I think it has a really good chance of passage if it's brought to the House floor as scheduled.
Let's talk about the show.
Yes.
The annual meeting ongoing here at the Convention Center in Wenatchee. A lot of technological advances that will be on display at your trade show.
Yes, there are quite a few. Everything from new hand equipment to robotic harvesters are on display. So there's a lot of interesting technology for growers to take a look at and try out and decide if it's worth the investment. So I've seen a lot of people walking the trade show floor and looking at what's there.
Okay. Also, this year is kind of special because we've unveiled a brand new apple variety, which is the Cosmic Crisp.
It is.
It went onto the store shelves on December 1st. What are you hearing out there from consumers?
Hearing really good things. I personally really like it. I think a lot of retailers are frustrated that they can't get as many as they want, which is a good problem to have as a grower and packer. The apple is very popular, and I think it's going to do well. It is a challenge in this produce environment. If you go into the grocery stores, there's a lot of choices for consumers, not just among different kinds of apples, but all sorts of other new fresh produce items. You know, it wasn't that many years ago that it wasn't so common to see those mini citrus, for example, and now there's bags of those, little mandarin oranges all the time.
That's true.
And a lot more year-round berries, for example. So it is a very competitive environment, and we think that these new apple varieties are going to help us maintain consumer preference in the produce aisle.
It's not your grandpa's orchard anymore, is it?
No, but that's one of the things that we talk about at our annual meeting and conference is that things are always changing in our industry. People tend to think of agriculture as fairly static, but it is always evolving, always changing, and there's always a lot of new technology, and growers really work hard to keep up with that, and that's why so many of them do come to our conference every year to learn what's going on and adopt the best practices.
Good deal. Well, we can find you on the web, I know, at the Washington State Tree Fruit Association website.
That's right, WSTFA.org. We put out a lot of just general information and a lot of training and educational materials for growers as well, so that in between our conference they can stay up to date on the latest regulatory and safety requirements so that they're doing things as well as they can.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us. Anything else you'd like to add before we let you go?
Just always a pleasure to be here in Wenatchee. We really enjoy being downtown at the convention center. Our attendees really like it too. This is a great place to be.
Great. John DeVaney, Executive Director of the Washington State Tree Fruit Association, joining us today on In Focus. I'm Steve Hare.
They may not be from you, but they're a part of your family. For many reasons, not all children are being raised by their parents. Are you a family member who has stepped in to help raise grandchildren, nieces, or nephews? Whether court-ordered or not, Aging and Adult Care may be able to assist you with many needs. Kinship Care helps keep family and community ties together. Learn more about Kinship Care by contacting Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, working together for a better quality of life for all.
Let Fitterers Furniture help you turn your dreams into reality with their exciting selection of quality furnishing and accessories. Whatever style you are looking for, you will find beautifully crafted furniture of exceptional value and the unmatched Fitterers customer service to make this shopping experience one you will keep coming back to. Make a point of visiting Fitterers Furniture in downtown Ellensburg.
Quality, selection, and service since 1896.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around north central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special. The Cottage Inn has been a Wenatchee Valley landmark since 1940, making it one of the longest running locally owned restaurants around. And it's better than ever. Steak, seafood, and their famous homemade desserts for dinner, wonderful lunch items and breakfast on Sundays, all made from scratch and at an affordable price. It's no wonder the Cottage Inn has been so popular for over 75 years. Enjoy a fabulous meal today at the Cottage Inn on Easy Street in Old Station. And we're back with about 2.5 minutes left to go in this program. Before we do the weather forecast, a quick little heads up. I just heard from my good friend Eric Grandstrom, who said Grant Road is very, very slippery. We had some light snow mixed with some freezing rain at times. So according to Eric, anyway, and he knows more about this than I do, I'm stuck here in the studio. Grant Road is a bit of a ski slope this morning. Just a quick heads up if you hadn't headed out the door yet to work or school or whatever it is that you're doing and you plan on taking Grant Road. My understanding is it's very, very slippery. You were forewarned. All right. From the National Weather Service, courtesy of our friends at Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Here is your forecast. It's that system that came through. It just flew right by. And another quick-moving weather system continues later on today. We are expecting rain today. The snow level is going to be at 3,100 feet, so the passes are going to get a lot of snow. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Here on the valley floor, lots of clouds, high of about 40 with some rain this afternoon, although we're not expecting a great deal of rain, but it's a 70% chance of some rain later on this afternoon. Tonight, snow level goes down to 2,800 feet, which is still above the valley floor anyway. Lots of clouds. Chance of rain goes down to 30%. We'll get down to 31 for the overnight low. Friday, partly sunny, right around 40. Partly sunny, partly cloudy, right around there. No rain in the forecast for Friday. Friday night, we cloud up a little bit. We'll get down to about 27. Saturday, partly sunny, about 36 degrees, about 36 again on Sunday and Monday as high pressure sets up. All of these temperatures that you see are above normal. So a little bit of rain today, some fog forms tonight. Then we'll have some sun breaks, and outside of that, all things considered, pretty quiet weather forecast. But that's not the case in the mountain passes. There is a winter storm warning. It's going on right now. It goes until 10 o'clock Friday, so a quick heads up. In the mountain passes right now, it's a traction tire advisory on I-90, and traction tires are required as I speak on both Blewett Pass and Stevens Pass. So traction tire requirements on Blewett and Stevens. Traction tires are advised on I-90. New snow today in the mountain passes, 4 to 8 inches, depending on the elevation. That's today. An additional 4 to 8 inches is in the forecast for tonight, and they're going to get even more snow on Friday. It should taper off on Friday night. And if you're traveling over the river and through the woods in the mountain passes on Saturday or Sunday, you should be okay. Things are going to be dry. But the next couple of days into Friday night, you can expect some significant snowfall in the major mountain passes. My guest tomorrow, David Rayfield, the head marketing dude at the Wenatchee Wild, will be here tomorrow. Until then, have yourself a great Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye.